Now, I'm Tom Fury Zero News. Paul Thorpe said on my own podcast that he'd been involved in politics for 2 years, and his overall knowledge in certain areas, including politics, was limited. And he didn't say it as fake humility, and I accepted it as genuine. But that also means, and again, I'm no maverick when it comes to politics. A lot of people know a lot more than me, but I've been involved a lot longer. So there are certain things he says. Sometimes I feel quite naive, and other times I feel just actually quite politically savvy because they're not necessarily honest. They're more manipulative, but again, not necessarily manipulative in the way that you might think, but in more of a political way. So he's got the political savvy to do certain things, but in his own words, I'm going to show he's not necessarily got the experience or the knowledge in certain areas. Just bear that in mind, because he said something today which I'm really surprised at, and I'm going to give him credit for. Me and Paul may have a different idea about what the right is, and I've heard that recently they've been, I don't know, calling out FNATs as the reason for Islamists bombing Israel. Now, I haven't seen that myself. Not sorry, bombing a synagogue. Now, I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen that myself, so I'm going to put that to one side until I've actually seen that, because again, secondhand information, I don't know. If that's true, that needs to be sorted out, but I haven't seen it or heard it or found it or anything else, so I'm going to stick with what I can see. Now, again, the big political difference, and I think the thing that maybe he doesn't understand, or he thinks that I don't understand, is that he sees a lot of people on the right who are easily centrist and part of the machine. However, I still like what he's tried to do here. Instead of keep hiding behind reform or hiding behind Ben Habib or hiding behind what he's actually said, I'm sick of politicians playing games. I'm sick of tiptoeing around right-wing politicians that refuse to put out our country, to put our country before our party politics. I've had enough of division and bullshit. Okay, pretty standard generic line. But then he goes on to say Nigel Farage, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, Nick Tenconi, Paul Golding, Suella Braverman, Robert Jenrick, and yes, even some of the very few good Tories left. I don't know if there's any. No, there is. Couple. It's time to get around the bloody table and thrash out a plan to defeat the hard left and their weird and dangerous bedfellows. Why does he word things like that? This isn't. This isn't our last chance. It's our only. Okay, so he just goes on with the usual spiel. So. Why I've got to give credit is that he's called them all the names out. He's not left anyone out. He's not hiding behind reform today, because it's been annoying me a bit that he's hiding behind. Been promoting reform, not anybody else, because it's not honest when it comes to the May elections. So I like this. Don't get me wrong. There's a massive part of me that says instinctually he's only doing this to try and get these people to the UTK march, and wouldn't be doing this at any other time, and probably wouldn't give a shit at any other time. But I can't prove that. So I'll take it in good faith, because I have no, again, part of me feels like, would you be doing this if the UTK march was around the corner? Probably not. But the fact that he's called every name out, I can respect. Because that's what people need to do, instead of keep hiding behind one leader who they won't criticize. More of this needs to happen. No leaving out names, no backing a party and then slagging all the rest off. If you're going to be really hard on people, be hard on people. Include everybody. And to his credit, he's the first of the big ones, big channels, to include every fucking name and not leave them out. Well, there's one name he could have put on there, but we know that he never would. And that's Tommy. But then again, Tommy's not involved in politics. So it's best to leave him out. But he's called every major name on there, which I think is good, and I think we need more of. So credit where it's due. Me, like I say, whether I agree with all those people being right wing is another thing. But I understand what he's tried to do. I understand that he's tried to have no friends in his statement. I think it's important, and I think more people need to do that. And that's to be friendless when it comes to politics, and make them all understand that you either fix the country or, or we won't even look in your direction. So whether it's together, apart, like I say, I think some of those people there are incompatible, but the cream rises to the top. So hopefully, if you smash them all together, the best will stick together. And let's see, let's see. But I think our current strategy is not working. Not, I know that UTK doesn't have the answer, but some of these politicians and people coming together might, some of them might. I don't know. We'll see. But the point of it is holding leaders to account is naming every single one of them and shaming them. And that's what he's done. So fair play. However, whatever you think his reasons are, I have my own doubts about what Paul's incentives are, but at the same time, he's allowed to have his own goals and political reasons and agendas. But when someone does something right, don't ignore it. Say, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And I hope more people do it. Instead of hiding behind one leader and saying, oh no, this guy's totally brilliant. Nobody's brilliant. Everybody's got their faults. And they all need to be called out. It's good. Tom Fury, 0 News.